Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that might seem simple on the surface, but has some really deep layers once you start peeling them back. We're talking about the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Now, you might think, aren't they the same thing? And it's a fair question. Most of us use these terms interchangeably. We see someone with a fancy car, a huge house, and designer clothes, and we immediately think, wow, they're rich. And you're not wrong. But are they wealthy? That's a whole different conversation. Let's start by defining our terms. Being rich is primarily about income. It's about having a lot of money coming in. Think of hiring doctors, lawyers, or top sales executives. They have big paychecks. They can afford a luxurious lifestyle, and they definitely look the part. You see the tangible signs of their success everywhere. This is what we often call new money. It's flashy, it's impressive, and it's very visible. Being rich is about what you have right now. It's the cash flow that supports that high-end lifestyle. But here is the catch with being rich. It is often tied directly to your ability to work. If that high-income job disappears, the money tap can turn off just as quickly as it turned on. A rich person might be living paycheck to paycheck, just on a much grander scale. They might have high monthly expenses. The mortgage on the mansion, the lease on the luxury cars, the private school tuition. So, while they earn a lot, they also spend a lot to maintain that image. It's a high-stakes treadmill. If their income stops, their lifestyle could crumble. They are actively generating money, but they are also actively spending it. Now let's pivot to wealth. Wealth is a different beast altogether. Being wealthy isn't about how much you earn, but about what you own. It's about your assets. Wealth is the money you have working for you, even when you're sleeping. Think of it as an army of little dollar soldiers going out into the world and bringing back more soldiers for you. Wealthy people focus on building and accumulating assets that generate passive income. These assets could be things like stocks, bonds, real estate that pays you rent, or ownership in businesses that you don't have to manage day to day. The key difference here is sustainability. A wealthy person could stop working tomorrow, and their lifestyle wouldn't have to change dramatically, if at all. Their assets are generating enough income to cover their expenses. This is the concept of financial freedom. It's not about having an infinite amount of money, but about having enough income-producing assets to live the life you want without being forced to trade your time for a paycheck. Wealth is quiet. It's not always visible. The truly wealthy person might be your unassuming neighbor who drives a 10-year-old car but owns half the apartment buildings in town. They prioritize assets over appearances. So, let's look at this through a simple analogy. Imagine two people, rich Rick and wealthy Wendy. Rick is a top surgeon who makes $1 million a year. He has a stunning house, 2 sports cars, and takes incredible vacations. His Instagram is goals, but he has a massive mortgage, car payments, and his spending habits mean he only saves about 5% of his income. If he has an accident and can no longer perform surgery, his income stream dries up, and he's in serious trouble within months. He's rich, but he's financially fragile. Now, let's look at wealthy Wendy. She started a small online business 10 years ago. It doesn't make her $1 million a year, but she lived frugally and consistently invested 50% of her profits into a diversified portfolio of stocks and rental properties. Today, her investments generate $150,000 a year in passive income, which is more than enough to cover her comfortable, but not extravagant, lifestyle. She could sell her business tomorrow, or just let it run on autopilot, and her financial situation would be secure. She has freedom. She has options. Wendy is wealthy. She's playing the long game. The mindset is fundamentally different. The rich mindset often asks, how much money can I make? Which leads to chasing higher salaries and bonuses. It's an active pursuit. The wealthy mindset asks, how can I make my money make more money for me? This leads to a focus on investing, asset accumulation, and financial education. It's a strategic, long-term approach. It is a shift from being the engine of your finances to being the architect of a self-sustaining financial engine. This isn't to say that being rich is bad. Having a high income is a fantastic tool. It's arguably the most powerful shovel you can have to dig your well of wealth. The problem arises when people stop at being rich. They get the big shovel but use it to build bigger and bigger sandcastles right next to the ocean, without ever digging the well that will provide water long after the tide comes in. The goal should be to use your high income, your richness, as a springboard to build lasting wealth. So, how can you start making this shift from a rich mindset to a wealthy mindset, regardless of your current income? First, start tracking your money. You need to know where it's going. You can't build wealth if you don't know what you have to work with. Second, prioritize paying yourself first. This means before you pay any other bills, before you buy that new gadget, you allocate a portion of your income to savings and investments. This is non-negotiable, even if it's just a small amount. To Bajin Wheat, the habit is more important than the amount. Third, educate yourself about investing. You don't need to become the next Warren Buffett, but understanding the basics of stocks, index funds, and real estate is crucial. The knowledge you gain is itself an asset. There are countless free resources right here on YouTube, as well as books and blogs that can get you started. The barrier to entry for learning has never been lower. Fourth, focus on increasing the gap between what you earn and what you spend. You can do this by either increasing your income, decreasing your expenses, or ideally, both. That gap is your power. That's the seed money you can plant to grow your tree of wealth. And finally, be patient. Building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about consistent, disciplined action over a long period. You won't get wealthy overnight. It's the boring, unsexy process of consistently investing and letting compound interest work its magic. The flashy lifestyle of the rich might look more appealing in the short term, but the freedom and security of the wealthy is the ultimate prize. It's the difference between looking successful and actually being successful on your own terms. So, to wrap it all up, being rich is about having a high income. Being wealthy is about owning income-generating assets. Richness is often temporary and dependent on your active work. Wealth is sustainable and provides freedom. The ultimate goal for most of us should be to use our income, whatever it may be, as a tool to build true, lasting wealth. It's about shifting your focus from spending to owning, from appearance to assets, and from the short-term sprint to the long-term marathon. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with this distinction? Let me know down in the comments below. I love reading your perspectives. If you found this video helpful and it gave you something to think about, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content on building a better financial future. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.